Hey everyone, and welcome back to Motorsport Manager, the Underdog Challenge, where we are now only 3 races away from the end of this season. We are of course in Season 2, and the, well, not title race is coming to a close because we are not of course in any shape or form challenging, but we are very much in the middle of the pack. And we could still finish 6th if we do really well. We'll have to see. Last race we gave our Frenchman Dior a chance on the race, and he did remarkably well, I must say. He got 13 points for us on the board, whereas Coburn I think did a little bit less good. Bjelland of course is out right now with some neck injuries. He might be back in time for next race, but honestly it's not the end of the world if he isn't. He's probably not gonna make that actually, so we might give Axel here another shot at another race, which is very nice for him, of course. He is a retiring driver, as you can see from his driver traits. So for him to still be able to get some races in is very nice. Anyway, he is a... he's not a paid driver, actually. I thought he was. I think I said that last episode, but he's not. That also makes a bit more sense than why we're not... why we got a little bit less money last race, I believe. Fair enough. In the meantime, I've made sure to have a look at the potential drivers for next season, as both of our drivers have, well, not the skills really to mount any type of challenge. Having looked at all of these available people, there's some few really good prospects in there, like here, Yuna Kui, Luciana Romero. Yeah, there's a few of them that are really good here. Freya Larsen is also really good. Problem is, none of them actually have good marketability. And with none of them, I mean as in most of them are below 50%. There's a few here that are in the 80s and are, to be fair, really good drivers, but I don't think we can give those up yet. We would actually drop below the 5-star sponsor level, and we really don't want to do that. So I'm afraid for now that we will not be swapping drivers yet. It would be nice to already have a driver lined up for next season, let's just say, but that is so far not in the cards. We can see in the off season when some other drivers get rid of their contract and some new batch of young recruits comes in, perhaps we can find a driver to upgrade our bad skilled drivers. But to be honest, marketability is still the #1 focus, even in the 3rd season. Let's see what happens with the upcoming race. You didn't quite have the pace today. Is the car letting you down, or are the drivers failing to get the best out of it? I think this is sort of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. This probably upsets the driver morale, but let's just do this. It didn't cost us anything. That's great. Pit stops were great. I think that also contributed to having a pretty good race. We had a mistake-free weekend, which is of course always nice. And let's have a look. Our car repair is also finished. Our Axel Dior got caught speeding. I guess when he came home from the race, he still felt like he was in the racing level. He's only 25 years old. How are you already retiring? That is... I didn't even notice that. I thought he was in his late 30s or something. Probably the beard makes it so. Alright, car repair is finished. Great. Like I said last episode, there isn't really much for us to do in the performance-wise anymore. We're just finishing up the last bits of performance work. This time at least, unlike last season, we're done way ahead of time, which is nice. All the parts are as good as they pretty much can be. Except for these that we're of course still working on. We're not working on any of the reliability issues. I could put a few, I suppose we could do something like this. But we are still going to give all the staff towards our performance specialist, because that is really the only thing that matters right now. And let's see what our sponsor slot can give us. 7th is probably doable here and there, but it will be only in the 3rd race, or sorry, the 3rd season, which is, we would only get it for 1 race. 1 million of upfront payment is very nice. 10th is a lot more doable, but no upfront payment makes it not so good. Let's see. We have one more option probably soon. Yeah, there it is. See what that one gives us. Basically a worse version of this one. Okay. Well, I suppose we just take this one, and 1 million is a nice little bonus, and we can always try and shoot for the stars with 7th. Anyway, even if we never make it, we would still need to win or make our 10th position in 2.5 races just to make it worth the upfront payment that we'll get immediately. So I think this is fine. Let's go for special effects. We have about 5.5 million, which is a decent chunk of change, let's say, but it's not really enough to do much in our HQ. We could build a staff center, but I really don't care about the driver improvement rates much. Anyway, our drivers right now aren't improving because they don't have any upside. Something like a simulator or brakes could be interesting. It is 8 million, but it is one of the parts that we're actually working on, so that could be interesting. We won't be able to finish it probably before the end of the season, so it's not exactly a high priority. We would be able to actually pick, for example, this one, which is a really good component, but we're not going to be able to finish it before the end of the season anyway, so I don't really care about doing it right now. And we would also need to go into debt, which is never nice. Forecasting center is a cool building to have, but so far rain hasn't really messed us up, and knowing a bit more in advance is obviously an advantage, but not that necessary, let's say. Telemetry center could be very interesting, actually. We might go for that, but a little bit later. We don't need to go into debt, even if it would only be by like 400,000. There's no point. It will be done only by the 3rd season anyway. So we're not in a rush, let's say. So let's continue for now. We'll keep our money in the bank. But that will probably be the next upgrade we take, either that one or the design center. But the design center is quite expensive. We are not giving you a huge party for your birthday, Bieland. What makes you think you deserve one? You haven't put many points on the board at all. A card will do. That dilemma is just... I've never, I think, given them the party unless we were really on like a brink of the driver quitting with low morale. There's just no point. Let's see. There's the Phoenix race, which is of course not in our league. No. Let's just keep going. All right, that's the performance work done, and that should now mean that we have upgraded everything we need to upgrade for the rest of the season. Yeah, we have the brakes, who are at 330 and 295, which we will take to the next season. There is the gearbox, which is at 227 for both of them, which is nice because our cars then both actually are pretty decent. And then we have the suspension at 195 and 170, also nothing too shabby. I guess we could just work on the reliability of the parts we're actually using for the rest of the season. It's not going to do too much, to be honest. Most of them are already at 100%, and I can't remember the last race we had this season where it actually mattered. Right now, as you can see, we're in 10th, 9th, and 10th with our parts, but if we were to actually fit our best parts, then let's see where we would be in the next season, sort of in the standings. So let's give you this, let's give you this, and let's fit the good suspensions. There you go. And then let's have a look again. And now we are in 7th on the gearbox, 5th on the brakes, and 9th on the suspension. Suspension is definitely our worst part. But not too bad. We are sort of a middle of the pack team. And with our superior strategy, we should be able to actually challenge, I think, for a top spot. Probably not first, but at least something up there. Next season, hopefully. It also depends a little bit on luck, of course, and your rivals doing a bit worse than maybe they can, but not too unhappy with our car for next season already, let's just say. And next season, of course, we can again spend a lot of money on improving the parts and make sure that at the very least in the 4th season, I really want to try and go for the title in this league. Performance work is done. Yep, we are way ahead of our 10th position that we should have been in. And then some scouting reports. You always want to be keeping scouting up, even if you're not really in need of drivers, because scout reports, I don't think, expire. We have a really healthy balance sheet, great. Scout reports don't really expire, so you might as well. It's always nice to know who's out there. And at some point, if someone really good becomes available, you do want to have them scouted, of course. Otherwise, you have no clue what you need to offer them. Point system changes coming for... Alright, this will probably be the last vote. If the rule change is approved, points would be given out to the top 8 drivers, with the race winner awarded a maximum of 10 points. So this is sort of the old Formula 1 system, I guess. Almost. Yeah, this is very little points that would be given out during the season. I don't know if that's in our favor for the upcoming... I think we might go against that, to be honest. We are leaving Bjelland at home again. He's still recovering from his dodgy neck. And I would like to give Axel Dior another shot at driving. I know it costs us a little bit of money, but he does have way better movements. And, well... I don't think you should be letting people drive that have dodgy necks regardless. Let's pick the most achievable sponsor objective. Would be nice to get it. And the car is fine. Top speed is crucial, so is deceleration. Those are not really areas that we are good in. This is of course a spec part, so that is actually pretty good for us as we're equal to everyone else. High speed corners is also a spec part, so this race should be relatively equal for all cars, which is nice. Only 21 laps, quite short, and it looks like no rain. Let's get into it. Back into Italy. I think we've been here once before this season, so let's see if we can improve on the last result. It's sort of a track with very little corners, very high-speed corners as well, as you can see. Sort of just these sloping corners and then very little chicanes. That's why the engine is so important here, but yeah, since we spec parted it, that of course doesn't matter so much. Oh, yeah, the bug just keeps showing up, but I don't think it actually matters so much. Let's do our usual setup, as always. Put everything a little bit in the sides. We are going for softs, for sure. With only 21 laps to go, we can just do 3 stints of softs, and as always the fuel won't allow us to do a one stopper, so that is just what we have to go for. We'll give it high downforce, I guess, put all the handling on the side and put the speed balance on the side. And also for you, we are going to be doing soft. Dior here definitely could do well, probably actually just 2 soft stints. It doesn't even need to do a medium, but the fuel just won't allow it, so there's no point. But on the plus side, we will be able to probably run his tires very aggressively. For Coburn, we have to be a little bit more careful since he goes through them quite quick. But Dior might actually give us some options with going quite aggressive on these tires, which is always nice. That really helps your lap times, especially when your car is a bit worse than everyone else's. This is not a good start to your practice session, but you are somewhat close, so let's put you something like here. Here, you are okay already, so do something like that. Alright, back out you go. You are also very bad. Okay, this time not a good gamble. Let's immediately put you something like in the middle. And okay on the other one, so at least we're close. Let's say something like this and something like this. Maybe one back. Because okay is somewhat close at least, so you shouldn't be putting it too far away from where you had it. And let's see what we can do on the second stint. I would like to keep them out as much as possible and try to again get that level 3. Perfect on Coburn almost. That should be in the 90s somewhere. Yeah, that's good enough. We're gonna send her out for the rest of the practice session. I could fiddle a little bit with the handling, but like I said, I would much rather they get level 3. Net performance increase than another, let's say, 2% increase on their setups. Same for you. 95% is perfect. Let's send you out. I think I made your stint a little bit too short. So probably we'll have to send Dior in and out immediately again, but that's okay. Let's see if we can get level 3 again. That would be very nice. I think they're doing their proper laps now. And they're... well, Dior is doing alright. But they are, of course, on horrible tires and loaded at least Coburn with a lot of fuel. So that is costing her a lot of lap time, I think. But that's okay. Dior is coming back in. Let's be ready to immediately send them back out. There you go. Just go on the same old tires. I don't want to waste more tires than we need to. Even though tires... like, the amount of tires you get in the lowest league is not really an issue at all. I know later on you can get, like... let's say you get only 2 or 3 tire sets of each. then it can become a little bit more of a problem, especially for the longer races, but in this case it doesn't matter much at all. Alright, perfect. We got level 3 on the softs, and that is also the only tire we'll be running, bar some, well, rain, basically. If rain comes, then we'll have to go to inters or wets, of course. As always, we're gonna pick these, because these components actually don't do much for us. Our car is really healthy right now. I think all the parts are pretty much at 100%, so that should never be an issue. We get 9 laps worth of fuel. That means you can sort of run fuel and tires on the exact same level, whereas Dior can do a bit more. So we can run Dior's tires a bit more aggressively, and then maybe also run his fuel more aggressively, let's say. He's also in first, so the longer he can hold on, the better, of course. I think we'll run Dior the most aggressive, whereas Coburn, who's starting in 9th on the grid, will be running orange relatively soon. First lap they'll get red, just to compete, of course, but I think very soon we will be putting that back towards orange or yellow even for Coburn. Because we do want that 1 lap differential. Very good start for Dior, not such a good start for Coburn it looked like, but Dior is flying away from everyone. That is perfect. Alright. What a man. It's a shame he's not a pay driver and his marketability is bad, because he is a little bit of a legend so far in these 2 races that we've given him. Let's see how he does though. Coburn already is dropping some spots. I think we're... Well, she is fighting still, so I guess we shouldn't really be cutting off her. Everyone behind her is kind of way better than her, like the Wolf, Cavalcanti, Leclerc, I think even Van Anen. They're all, they start at the back of the grid because they're up in the standings, so I kind of feel like she's not going to be able to fight against them much anyway. So we might as well do this. She needs to conserve her tires a little bit if we're gonna differentiate between Dior and Coburn. Dior is better at conserving his tires, so he can tell their tire quality is the same, except he's been running on red for longer now, so we are 1.7 seconds ahead of Chu, which is amazing, really good. And let's now start building that differential a little bit between them. She's conserving her fuel a bit more and her tires. How many laps do we want to do this stint? Let's see when we cross the finish with Dior. We are now at 6, so potentially we could do 6, but Coburn wouldn't be able to do 7 unless we now start conserving fuel really hard. And I think her tires wouldn't last either. So I think we'll do 5 for Dior and 6 for Coburn. That means Coburn can run out on orange, whereas you will need to drop back to orange in, let's say, 3 or 4 laps. If we're doing 6 for you, yeah, you do need to run on conserve for a little bit. 5 for you, that means you can probably run your tires still pretty aggressively, honestly. Alright, fine. Let's keep building that gap if we can. I'm not sure. But so far, Dior is doing very well. And it looks like the other people are having a little bit of trouble overtaking. Like the Wolf, Cavalcanti, Leclerc. Normally they're up there, you know. Oh. Alex Rogers has crashed, but it's a yellow flag, no overtaking in sector 2. That means at least no problems for us. Oh yeah, he was in the wall there. Damn. No problems for us with having to do a safety car or whatever, anything like that, which is very nice because we have built a sizable gap now to the people behind that are stuck in traffic. So if possible, we of course want to keep that gap. Put you back to medium because your temperature's getting down a little bit. And I think let's also put you down on the tire wear a little bit. Don't want to go through them too hard, but the gap is widening. It's also probably because, yeah, they're running less aggressively now. But that's okay. I think we want to do 3 more laps with you now. 4 more with you. So let's see how that fits when we actually cross the finish line. We might have to go back to orange after this lap. But it's looking very good so far. 3-second differential. It's not bad at all. I think you had 1 bad corner there or something, because I thought it was more. But, let's see. We crossed the line at 3.5. We could do 1 more lap theoretically, I think, of red, and then we need to pull back to orange. So let's run for about half a lap more, and then we pull them back. I always like to be a bit safe. Keep around 0.1 or 2 laps of fuel left as a reserve. Just so you don't run out of fuel, because if you do that, you ruin the entire race. You need to warm up your tires a little bit. There you go. Right, that should be okay. I think you can even run on overtake for a little bit. Yeah, that should be okay. You are now gonna be back in orange. That's fine, I think. And since we're doing 2 more laps, we can run the softs till, I think, 10%. So it should be okay, but let's start cooling it down a little tiny bit. Coburn is dead last, but that's okay. Let's see. Yeah, on orange, you're now basically gonna perfectly make it. Actually, we need to run you on yellow now, probably. I kind of miscounted there. Yeah. The yellow should be perfect for you now. Yeah, that's okay. There should be okay. Can run the tires a little bit more aggressively again. We are, of course, yeah, the gap is slowing a little bit. Sabato here just overtook Chu, and he's going hard. So he's already a full second ahead of Chu. So Sabato is coming for us, you can tell. But that's okay. We're obviously not really expected to win this race or anything, but it would be nice to get the sponsor objective at least, because that's a lot of money. But all the people that we are afraid of, like the Wolf, Tomberg, Dembele, Leclerc is still down there, and also Sabato, of course. They are the guys really after us, so we have to be careful a little bit. Alright. Time for Dior to pit. We are going, of course, again to the softs. Switch back to yellow, just so we get the roundup bonus. Yeah, there you go. 14 laps remaining. We'll give him 9 laps worth of fuel. That means he can run on red pretty much the entire time. We are gonna just do the fast pit stop. We have 22% chance. That is not too much, which is nice. Let's put your engine a little bit high. Or sorry, your tires, just so you can maybe hold off a little bit longer. Looks like Sabato is also gonna pit. It would be nice to get out ahead of him, because we would have a lot of fuel to burn again, so we could maybe hold him off, but I'm not sure we'll be able to. I don't really want to mess up the fuel count, because we didn't have that much to spare with. But I'll give you a little bit if you think you can make it work. I really would like to go into the pits before Sabato there. Come on. There you go. Yeah, nice. Okay. Alright. Let's hope he doesn't have a crazy quick pit stop. Hey, we had a mistake there. Come on, he's still not moving. Oh, he's gonna get out ahead of us, I think. Oh, and another mistake. Damn. When it raises pores, that's 4 seconds worth of mistakes. Really poor. Really, really poor. Especially with only a 22% chance. That is super unfortunate. Oh well. It is what it is. We are going to burn through our fuel and also run the tires rather aggressively with only 14 laps to go. We do have a little bit of room to play with, and it is now, of course, also time for Coburn to get into the pits. We're going to give her the same treatment. Hopefully she has a better pit stop, because that was absolutely dreadful from our guys in the pit crew. Unbelievably bad pit stop there. That cost us like 5 seconds, I think. Yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes you have these bad races, but it is a shame for Dior, because he held on so well for the first spot. And then for that to mess it up is really unfortunate. We are still at least ahead of a few people. Let's see if we do come out ahead of these people in the pits. I honestly don't think so. But let's see. Yeah, there's a few people already out ahead of us. We are just ahead of that cluster, which is really good. Sometimes you can get a really bad pit. Sometimes one person could sort of stop your car dead in its tracks, whereas now we could just shoot through. So that's really good, at least. Let's put them on sort of the same strategy. I think that's fine for now. Both on orange tires and on burning the fuel like crazy. We need to have at least 9 laps worth of fuel, of course, when we make our next pit stop. So around lap 12, we're fine. We're probably going to do something like 5 more for Dior, and then I think 6 for Coburn, and then we'll do the last pit stop. That sounds just about right, to be honest. I think we are getting out ahead of these people at least. Very nice. Okay, so even with this horrible, horrible pit mistake, we are still in 3rd, which is insane, to be honest. We're only 5 seconds behind first, but obviously we're not going to be overtaking them. They have better cars and better drivers. Oh, Leclerc here just crashed hard. We saw that leaving live. Oh, the safety car for that. That is super unfortunate because we just pitted. Question is, do we think we can run out the race if we pit now? The safety car will be going for it. Let's say at least 2 laps. 1, 2, maybe even 3. So depending on... By the time we're out, we might be in lap 12. But the problem is we'd be pitting now, so we'd need to make it last, the fuel last for like 12. No, I don't think we can make it work. Well, we'll be in 11 when we pit. Let's say we pit you, right? We'll be in lap 11 when we pit. We'll get 9 laps worth of fuel. We'd be running on blue for at least 2 more. No, we're not going to make that. That's super unfortunate. We can't make it work with tires. We could, for example, pick mediums, but we're only going to get 9 laps worth of fuel. And even if we run out the race on blue, I just don't think we'll... Because blue, I think, gives you 0.9 fuel per lap. Yeah, that's not going to happen. If we got 10 laps worth of fuel, I might have done it, but I think now it's just not worth it. We could pit, but we'd be giving up track position while we're in third, which is kind of bad, but this is just a super bad safety car for us, to be honest. Everyone will be bunched up, and whoever pits now, I guess, will have much fresher tires, but on the other hand, almost everyone pitted, so I don't really see too many people choosing to go to the pits, I think. I think we'll just go blue, and we'll stick to our strategy. I don't think we really have a choice but to stick to it. There's really not much point in pitting. We have almost fresh tires still. We have a lot of fuel left. And we can't make one less pit stop work. So there's no point, I think. So let's just keep on going. We have 1 lap left on this safety car. Yeah, it looks like not many people are choosing to pits. I think only Dembele there chose. And he'll probably still have to do another pit stop after this. That's why I don't think there's any point in doing it. Oh, we need to put the temperature up a little bit, just so we don't hurt our tires too much. Yeah, they're just above now, so at least they're not getting completely destroyed, let's say. Let's put them back to, like, yellow. Yeah, really unfortunate safety car, but I don't think anyone really benefited from this. The only problem is now that we lost a lot of our time that we had against these other people, which sucks. But that is motor racing, of course. We don't have control of that. All right, let's put ourselves on red. We already have the differential between our 2 drivers that we need in terms of fuel and also for the tires. We have perfect temperature basically for running on red because we can go way up. So, yep, there you go. And let's wait. Someone just pitted. Tabata, what are you doing, my man? You're gonna pit right as the safety car goes in. I guess he can make it work now, but he won't have much fuel to spare, so that's better for us at least. It looks like the Wolf is having some great speed. Hopefully we can stay ahead of this pack here, but not getting my hopes up too much, to be honest. Let's see. Your engine is strong. Well, 50%. I don't know what you're complaining about. That should be more than fine. We have been running them on red, of course, for quite a while, but still. Oh, another crash. And this time it's our driver, Coburn. Yeah, that is super unfortunate. I mean, she was anyway only in 17th, but she was really close to everyone else, of course, due to the safety cars, so unfortunate there. But we still have our driver that is in the best position out in the field, so let's focus on him. And we'll scold Coburn after the race. At least now we don't have to worry too much about her. Let's destroy our tires and try and go for 2 more laps, I think. If we go for 2 more laps, then we have quite a lot of fuel to play with for the last final of the race. And also we will be giving our engine a bit of a break on the red engine status. Our tires are worse than most of the people behind us, so I think it's good for us to try and do Yeah, we could do one. We could pit now, actually. How much? We'd have 7 laps remaining. We could pretty much run the rest of the race on red, even if we pit now, and we would get fresh tires. And he is able to make those tires last quite well as well. So I think actually I might just pit him now. Let's burn the rest of the fuel and see what that does. Yeah, we would still get a good fuel differential. We would need to do 7 laps at 1.3 fuel per lap. Yeah, we would barely not be able to run on red for the rest of the race, but almost, so I think that's actually better. I think we'll do that, and then we will get some fresh tires going. Anyway, we're getting overtaken now, so I don't really like being in traffic, regardless. Let's go now, and eventually they're all gonna have to pit. We're now out of the traffic pretty much completely, except for Sabato here, who's still gonna have to pit, by the way. Oh my... Stop making mistakes, guys. That's 3 mistakes for Dior. 3.7 seconds. That is horrible. Alright, let's put your tires on red for a little while, just to give you some speed. Maybe you can make up some time. Yeah, who's the idiot that makes the mistake with the tires? Anthony Della Huntley. I think that's a guy I hired off screen, because I always like to do the pit stuff off screen, because it's frankly kind of boring. I hired him because he had 100 stamina and also pretty good stats, as in double digits on all of the skills. But then if you're gonna make these dumbass mistakes, then yeah, that doesn't help, let's say. Okay, let's put you to orange now. Don't want to put the tire temperature up too much. Looks like a lot of people are pitting now. Yeah, 4 seconds. That is really bad. Come on, man. We're probably gonna get out behind pretty much everyone now just because of that pit mistake. No, just ahead. Out of one of the two. Okay. Such a shame. Dior was honestly on track for maybe even getting a podium finish. And then, despite having 2 mistakes earlier, he was still in second. And now, it looks like this mistake will cost him dearly. I think this one was a bit too much for him, even him to handle. But I must say, I'm really impressed by Dior's driving so far. That is really cool to see, at least. Yeah, let's run out the race. There isn't too much that we'll be doing in terms of tactics anymore. We don't really have a choice. We're pretty much getting out behind everyone now. So yeah, these mistakes are just horrible for our point difference, but it is what it is. 31% with 4 laps to go. That is a little bit dangerous, let's say. Make sure we go on high now. I don't want to destroy the engine and not have either of our drivers finish. That would be a disaster weekend for us. Put it like orange and see where we get. 3 laps remaining. We have a good amount of fuel. Put it on orange for a little bit as you're sort of fighting. Yeah, that was unfortunate, let's say. I think without any of the mistakes, we could have really challenged for a podium spot. Someone ran wide there, who was challenging us, so that's nice. Dembele is repairing some parts, so that's also really good for us. Go back to high now. I really don't want to destroy the engine. Alright, well, 13 so far. Don't think anyone else will have to pit still, so if we can hold on, this will be the spot that we're in. Engine is getting really down there. We're not going to go back to red anymore. That's too dangerous. We are getting probably... Last lap will probably run into red, but I think that should be okay. Someone is pushing us. Again, I don't want to force anything. Let's put our tires at least on red, but yeah, Dreyfus is just shooting past us because he has much fresher tires, of course. Yeah, this is what it has to be, I guess. 14th is incredibly disappointing with the way that we started off, especially seeing how Dior drove, but sometimes you don't really have control over what the pit crew does, of course. Could have put it to the lower pit times, but yeah, that also costs you something like 2 seconds standard. Sometimes you also just need a little bit of luck. Unfortunately, we didn't have it this time, but it's not like we're fighting for the title or anything. I still think we ran the race about as well as we could. Shame about Coburn, who crashed again. I think that's her 3rd time this season. So she's building a bit of a reputation, let's say. But that's okay. She's not there for... Oh, we gained 1 spot, I think, because of... Oh, we gained 2 spots because 2 people broke the rules. Wow. Okay. Well, that's nice. Unfortunately, we couldn't get above our sponsor objective. That would have been a lot of money, and I really think we had a very good shot at making it, because we are 5 seconds behind the person in 7th. I think if we count all our penalties up, we are at the very least something like, we've lost like 10 seconds, I think, at least. Yeah. Well, we probably wouldn't have gotten a podium finish. I think that was a bit overambitious, but sponsor objective we could have definitely gotten. Shame that we didn't get the opportunity to, but again, a good finish for Dior here, who is actually catching up to Bieland a bit in terms of points. Disappointing race for Coburn, who crashed again, but we are still only 5 points behind Octane Racing, so 6 points ahead of Archer BMR. CRT Autosport is catching up a little bit. At the very least, it looks like we won't be finishing last, because Dragon Race Team China is doing much worse than all other teams. So, not too bad. And that is with only 2 more races to go now, I think. It is really coming down to the wire. I think that 6th spot is up to grabs for basically all of the teams except Dragon Race Team China. So let's see. We came in 10th because of Coburn's crash, unfortunately. Doesn't do much for our marketability. And also, for some reason, Axel really doesn't like driving for us. Every time we let him drive, he loses 20% morale. Just weird, because we're actually getting him some decent finishes. I don't know how that works. Maybe he doesn't like the car that he's in, but he's a reserve driver, so he shouldn't really care about the car that he's getting. He should just be happy that we're letting him drive at all, I think. Interesting. I don't know why he's so upset that he gets to drive, basically, but it is what it is. I think the guy that made the mistakes, yeah, is you. And I think when they make a mistake, they lose an insane amount of stamina, because he was at 100 and now he lost 35 in 1 race. Looks like Cucurano is the other one that made mistakes, because he's at 55. We'll be swapping you both out. You go rest and make sure you never do anything like that ever again, please, because holy crap, that was a disaster. All right, I think we're good now. Probably try and swap you out at least. 0.4 is quite bad. Yeah, but you, yeah. All right, well, that is a shame. We could have done a lot better, I think, in that race. At least got that cash bonus, but looks like we weren't able to pretty much for things out of our control. Not too bad in the end. Anyway, we're still challenging for that 6th spot. If we finish 7th this season or 8th, I would definitely not be too disappointed. But of course, we want to finish as high as possible. Only 2 more races to go. The next one up will be in Russia, where it looks like our gearbox will be the most important component. So we might actually still have a bit of a shot. Our gearbox isn't great, but the other 2 parts are spec parts. So we should actually have sort of a chance again. And it might also rain, so let's see if we can do better in the next race. We might give Dior another shot, but probably not. I think Bieland will now be back from his injury. So good for him to also get a few races still in this season. With 2 races more to go, we are almost now done with the 2nd season. And then we can hopefully really start challenging for better results in the 3rd one, where we finally get to use our upgraded car. I'm really looking forward to that. And that will happen very soon. For now, I think that this is a good time to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It really helps out a lot, I think. I don't know. I'm not really experienced with the whole YouTube thing, but thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.